Hey, how's it going, runner? Coach Kyle here, and today you're getting a step-by-step follow-along walkthrough of the FIFA 11 Plus Injury Reduction Warm-Up program. You're gonna learn what this warm-up is, why you should do it, and then a step-by-step video taking you through the process of actually doing it. Now, originally this is a structured warm-up meant for soccer players, but after discovering the routine, I decided I wanted to adapt it for use by the runners that I coach. And this meant two things. The first is that I had to slightly tweak some of the exercises, as it was originally meant to be done on a soccer pitch, which I think is a soccer field, in a group setting at the start of practice. And the second was that while there are many videos kind of showing the different exercises, how they're done, etc., I couldn't find a really good actual step-by-step walk along through on YouTube, like as a live walkthrough. So here it is. So with this video, you're gonna get a walkthrough that you can do in your home before you step out the door for a warm-up, or as you see me do, I'll do it outside at the park just down the street or in my driveway just outside here. I'm gonna talk in a second about why you definitely want to get this into your running routine. And keep in mind that when I have runners come to me for coaching, one of the first things I do with them isn't so much change their running as it is getting them doing some good running specific strength and mobility work, just like this routine. If you want some more guidance on how to do that, visit my website, kylekranz.com. You can sign up for a totally free 3-month strength program where you'll get emailed every Friday and Sunday with a couple routines to do over the coming weekend or work week. And that's a totally free 3-month program. It includes warm-ups, it includes this routine, it includes intra-run work, it includes an upper body routine, and it includes post-run hip, glute, and core focus routine as well. And the beauty of this is that because it's 3 months long, it has different phases and it progresses over the time as your strength, as your mobility progresses at the same time. So this FIFA 11 Plus program is a structured 20-minute warm-up routine that's comprised of evidence-based or best practice exercises for core stability, balance, dynamic stabilization, and eccentric hamstring strength, meant to be done 2, maybe 3 times weekly prior to a training session. It's not unlike other warm-up routines I've done or have had my clients do. I discovered it, I liked it, and I thought I would, it'd be nice for a change up, and so I wanted to create this video right here. 2 things that really caught my eye with this specific program were that there are 3 separate phases to be done throughout 3 months. And also, fairly uniquely, this has research behind it showing a clear reduction in injury rates. One published paper consisted of over 6,000 players split between an intervention and a control group, and they found that the program reduced injuries in these soccer players by 30%. It has also been shown to reduce major injuries, particularly in female soccer players aged 13 to 18, by upwards of 50%, and a reduction of overall injury incidences in recreational or sub-elite soccer players by 39%. 4 years after launch of this program in Switzerland, teams that included the routine as part of their warm-up had an 11.5% fewer match injury rate and 25% fewer injury rates in training than teams that just did their regular warm-up as usual. And my favorite statistic was that in New Zealand, teams that implemented the program had $2.4 of return investment from the National Accident Insurance Company after 2 years. So it saves injuries and it saves money. I tell you all of this to stress that it does work. The problem or the tricky part is actually doing it. As a running coach, of course I work with the actual running of my clients, but a great deal of what I do is help them out with accountability with a lot of the non-running things as well. That includes strength and mobility work. If you want to learn more about my coaching and you think that some extra help, guidance, accountability sounds like something that would benefit you, check out my website, kylekranz.com. And if you want to try that free 3-month program, visit my website, sign up there, and you'll get that first email straight away. So like I said, it has been shown in soccer, but also in running, that a good, consistent, and frequently done warm-up and strength and mobility routine does reduce injury risk, it improves your running economy, aka it makes you a better runner. And doing this 2 to 3 times weekly with purpose with dedication is effective. The program is split into 3 parts. The first is a few minutes of slow speed running exercises. Next is some core and leg strength. It includes leg strength, plyometrics, some agility. The third section is comprised of some moderate to high speed or intensity running exercises. For soccer players, the intention is to do both the running and the strength work before practices, but only the running exercises before actual matches. For you as a runner, what I suggest is doing the running and the strength exercises prior to your easy general runs, and doing the running and just like the running drills, part 1 and 3, prior to something like a track or a tempo run. Some of you watching this may not feel like you have the time to do a 20-minute warm-up routine twice a week, but I tell my runners that if they truly want to improve not only their running ability, but their overall general health and wellness, you gotta make time for the prehab, the strength work, or you're gonna have to make time for the rehab later on. And improving your running doesn't simply mean improving your running, but it also means improving your overall physical and mental health and wellness. My job as a coach is to help you do anything possible to make sure you're not only a better runner, but a better person. And part of that is doing strength and mobility work. I tell my clients that if there's a day where they are truly stressed for time, I'd rather see them just do a 3-mile run instead of the 5-mile run, but still get the strength work in. So talk aside, I hope you understand what the program is and why it's important. So now let's get on to doing it. So we start off here with just some simple running in place to kind of warm up the legs, warm up those calf muscles especially, just to kind of get everything loose and warmed up. Okay, now we're gonna go into right leg circle forward and left, and then we're gonna do backwards as well. And these are a little hard to do without something to lean against. So if you want to use a tree or a fence or whatever to hold on to with a free hand, that's fine. These also might be referred to as hurdle leg forward and hurdle leg backwards. They primarily target the abs and hamstrings, hip flexors, even lower back, obliques, and quads. And remember to, as best you can, try to maintain your pelvis at a level position. Avoid rocking the hips too much. Make sure that your abdominals remain engaged throughout the movement. Alright, so next up we have the side shuffle, and this is an agility exercise that targets the legs. It's a great way to strengthen your lower body while adding in some light cardio, and don't try to overdo it with the length or the height with the movement. Keep it kind of quick and, low to the ground. There could be a tendency to bend too far forward and drop the chest during this side shuffle, so be aware to keep your chest lifted and look forward to maintain good posture during this exercise. And with the front plank, it's a good ab and back exercise. It includes erector spinae and the erectus abdominis, transverse abdominis. In addition, the position uses your traps, your rhomboids, delts, pecs, upper body, glute max, quads. If you find the plank difficult at first, try tabletop, where your hands and knees are all on the ground. Or you can do an incline plank to add a little bit extra to it. And remember to be aware of your position. And if you arch your back, you're not maybe engaging your abs sufficiently, and you may be putting more weight onto your arms. So make sure, as you can see here, that you try to maintain a fairly straight body. Next up here we have the side plank, and this primarily uses the obliques along with the glute med and glute maximus to help stabilize the hips. Easing into your side plank gradually before fully loading it with your body weight will likely help you avoid any joint or muscle strain. And as you can see, it can be tough to stay balanced, especially if you're wearing shoes with this exercise. But those wobbly moments are good instances to practice that stabilization. here's one of my favorite all-time exercises, the glute bridge. It uses the stabilizers of the posterior chain, your hip abductors, your glutes, your hamstrings, as well as the antagonist stabilizers up front, your abs, your obliques, your quads. And keep in mind that for this exercise, the visualization I like isn't that you're so much raising your hips up off the ground, but you're driving your heels down into the ground. And here we have some vertical jumps. The main muscles used with this exercise to execute the jump are the quads, the glutes, the hamstrings, and the calves. Keep in mind that jumping is a high impact activity. It isn't suitable for everyone, and you may want to start with short, shallow jumps or do just a few reps the first 1 or 2 times you go through this. And it can be something that takes a toll on your knees, your hips, your ankles, and your feet. So it's very important to not jump into this exercise with full, huge, over-exaggerated jumps. They just need to be a little bit off the ground and take a pause between each one. Okay, so now we're switching locations to my front driveway, and strides are excellent at the beginning of your stride when your foot hits the ground. Your quads, that big muscle up front on your thigh, kind of engages, does a lot of the work. As your body moves forward, the effort shifts more so into the posterior chain of your leg. And if you want to try this on flat terrain, you can do it on a little downhill to work the quads eccentrically a little more. Keep strides brisk and effortful, but they're not 10 out of 10 sprints. It's more like chasing a ball going out into the road, not like chasing a kid going out into the road. And then here we have bounding. It's a calisthenic and plyometric exercise, kind of like jumping jacks and any sort of jumping exercise. And it primarily targets the quads and to a lesser degree the calves, glutes, hamstrings, outer thighs. If you're training in a smaller space, your best option might be skater jumps. This move includes some of the same characteristics as this bound, but it's more so just side to side rather than forward and backwards. and you can do them more so in place. And bounds generate a lot of force. So if you want to, you can do them on turf or grass. And again, don't over exaggerate them. Keep them, nice and effortful, but you don't need to be taking the biggest, longest jumps you can. And that's true with these plant and cuts as well. They're meant to be, effortful, but not as exaggerated and huge of a movement as you can possibly do. Just doing it with a little bit of, plant and cut here and there is better and less potential strain on your ligaments than doing huge bounds or huge plant and cuts.